Hey everyone, welcome back. And in this video, let's just go ahead and explore different kind of environments which a technical team has or should have, and how that benefits your product, your pipeline, how it benefits you publishing your software online. Let's go. If you're new here, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. This is free of cost and helps the channel grow. All right, so very broadly speaking, your product, whatever your technical product is, if you're running this in front of a lot of users, it should have at least two environments. The first one is production environment and the second one is staging environment. Now, what is a production environment and what is a staging environment? Let's understand a little bit. So the production environment is probably something which is running on high compute. For example, you might have a compute intensive app which requires a lot of instances to handle a lot of traffic and so on. So high compute could be one thing. Production database should be another thing, which probably is linked with all the EC2s or lambdas or whatever it is running. And most likely it might also be running some sort of VPC for backends. So for example, your production database, let's say if this is an Atlas database, so you are running a VPC, which is like your production VPC, which has this EC2, which has this database, the Atlas database, and which might have a couple of Lambda functions so that all of them coordinate together nicely. And you can also have, for example, a Redis instance, all of that in a single production VPC. Then you want VPC for these resources to communicate is because it's much more secure in terms of traffic flowing. The traffic never leaves the VPC, so it never really gets on the internet. And the second thing is the speed, that is the performance. You want a pretty much locked down architecture, a pretty much close architecture where services talking to each other are very close in a production environment, because that helps you with the speed part. Now, by the way, this is what I'm telling you we do at codedamn in terms of having a production environment where we would have a prod VPC, which includes all the resources. All of them are running in production and they communicate with each other within a single VPC if required. The only difference in codedamm's case is we have our Next.js app deployed on CloudFront, which is a global service, so it's not a VPC, but we have the Redis, we have the Lambdas, we have the database all deployed in a single VPC. Now, the reason you want end-to-end tests to run on staging is because you don't want your end-to-end tests just blowing up your production data. That is because let's say if you have an end-to-end test which registers a user every single time, so you might have, if you have like 10 to 12 deploys per day, then you are probably, and each deploy, for example, runs this in 3 browsers, then you have 30-40 users creating through these end-to-end tests, and they are of no use. So you don't really want to just spoil your production database. That is why it's better to have a staging environment where these end-to-end tests run. And the second thing obviously is something which you need to roll out in a very production-like environment, but not exactly production as well. So the way this works in our case is, again, for staging, we use CloudFront for deployment of our app. For example, you could similarly use EC2s, but our setup in the staging environment is quite relaxed in the sense that we don't have an VPC, we don't have so many lockdowns, and it's fine even if our data communicates over internet, because speed does not matter a lot to us, and security, well, it also does not matter a lot because the database which is being used by the staging environment is not at all same as the one which is used by production environment. All the data over here is basically useless. It consists of useless users. I mean, not useless users. It's just mock data which we have created, so it's useless for anyone. And the speed here does not really matter much. What matters is the deployment time, because we want deployment time to be minimal. So if we could optimize that in terms of staging, we pretty much would be able to get some live preview URLs like Vercel does. And we do have that functionality internally in codedamn where we would have these preview URLs for our staging builds, which is any other branch except for master branch. Of course, when I say deployment time and deployment URLs and preview URLs, I was referring to the Next.js build, but it could pretty much be similar for an API which you're deploying, let's say on Lambdas. So you can have a preview URL in terms of Lambdas. That is exactly what we do in case of our staging build, but for backend. So for backend, we do the same thing. Again, like I said, we follow all the production-like practices, but the URLs which we get are more or less staging, which are not deployed on master branch. So in this way, we are also able to test backend in a staging environment without actually worrying about all of the hassles or all of the production level, all of deploying directly into the production level VPC. Now, another benefit of having a staging environment is that you can technically give developers 100% access to the staging build. So they can modify the environment variables, they can modify basically anything they want according to their needs. But the production environment technically should be logged in a way that even developers, nobody can really access it, and especially the database. And at least if anyone wants to access it, they are not able to access it completely. So it should be a table level access or a collection level access if you're using MongoDB and so on. So you can see that a lot of times when your team grows, it becomes important that developers have the flexibility to work, but at the same time, within the organization itself, there is no breach of security or minimal permissions are given to everyone, minimum required permissions. In that case, these separations of environments really help. And I mean, the takeaway from this video is that in your staging environments, you can compromise a little bit on these two aspects, but only and only when your staging environment is completely separate from your production environment. It could share the same services, but ideally, I mean, I would really recommend, even if you just share completely different AWS accounts, completely separating the production and the staging account in AWS itself using this AWS organizations, which will help you to actually keep your resources not only just isolated on service level, but also on account level. So, I mean, just in case if there is a breach of one service, there is no possible way for someone to access other services in the same account. So that will help. And plus you can give access of the staging account to your dev team completely. So that will also help. So yep, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you understood something new. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That is all for this one. I'm going to see you in the next video really soon. If you're still watching this video, make sure you comment down in the comment section, I watched this video till the end. Also, if you're not part of CodeDamm's Discord community, you're missing out a lot on events which we organize on a weekly basis to code. You already know the drill. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching.